Like many young women, I was drawn to the church, but grew disillusioned by the believers of the city.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at games that have taken a lot of inspiration from Assassin's Creed over the years. Now, we're not saying any of these games aren't great. In fact, many of them are actually some of the greatest games of all time, but they definitely wouldn't have been the same without Assassin's Creed.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Mafia III.
Now you all know what I'm willing to do for my family.
The first two Mafia games were heavily inspired by GTA and remain widely beloved. The third entry, however, wasn't as well received. Hangar 13 took the criticism that people wanted Mafia 2 to be longer and have more side content to heart, and approached Mafia 3 by loading it up with territories to take over and side missions to complete, feeling very similar to Assassin's Creed Syndicate, but also to even older games like Rogue, which had a similar gang/territory system. It also pulled from Assassin's Creed in another key way. The entire story sees Lincoln Clay systematically targeting and assassinating members of the Italian Mafia to seize control of the city.
Watch as I take it all away from him.
Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor.
We should have left when we had the chance.
Don't move. I'll clear a path.
One of the greatest Lord of the Rings games ever made, Shadow of Mordor never really hid its influences. Its third-person combat drew heavily from the Arkham games, which we'll be talking about soon, don't you worry, but it also had a parkour system and towers you can fast travel between. Although, interestingly, it wasn't until 2013's Black Flag that Ubisoft had the idea to let you fast travel between viewpoints. But we can't forget that the thing that set Shadow of Mordor apart from other games, its Nemesis system, was soon adopted through the mercenary system of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That was until 2021 when Warner Bros. Finally got its patent through. So much for give and take, I guess.
Rangers should go now. Very dangerous here.
The Saboteur.
So, what are we celebrating? We art.
What if there was an Assassin's Creed set during the Second World War, with players tasked with helping the French resistance? Well, wonder no more, because we've had a game just like that since way back in 2009. Unity only gave us a very small taste of a wartime AC in one of its Rift missions, where Arno climbs the Eiffel Tower and guns down enemy planes. But the Saboteur is an entire game just like that, with players working to undermine the Nazis from within and liberate the city, generally by assassinating people. Later Assassin's Creed games definitely adopted this formula more, but the Saboteur also included a very similar parkour system. Unfortunately, though the game is great, it didn't sell well, and Pandemic was unfortunately shut down by EA. Days Gone.
Hey, help me.
The first of numerous first-party Sony games on this list, Days Gone was pretty popular with everybody who played it, which, unfortunately, wasn't enough people for Sony to take a chance on a sequel, gosh darn it. While Days Gone has a much more human story than Assassin's Creed, which has become increasingly preoccupied with its demigod protagonist, the two games are very similar when you look at the way the open worlds are designed. Days Gone also has a settlement system in which Deacon works to earn the favor of the people living there. This is a little like the side missions Connor undertakes to build up the Davenport homestead in Assassin's Creed 3, but easily Days Gone did it better.
Okay. Don't look at it.
The Batman Arkham series.
B-Man, Mr. J doesn't want you following us just yet.
A lot of core elements of the Arkham games actually appeared in Assassin's Creed first. Only one AC game existed at the time Arkham Asylum released, with AC2 releasing 3 months later, but the inspiration is clear in one key area: detective vision. Though the Arkham games are often credited with developing this now ubiquitous game mechanic, with everyone from Arthur Morgan to the characters in Watch Dogs having it, it appeared as Eagle Vision in Assassin's Creed first. Later in the series, and Arkham would draw even more from Assassin's Creed by having Batman take out forts full of enemies in Arkham Knight, for better or for worse, I guess. And of course, there's the heavy stealth focus. Saints Row 4.
He's not getting away with this.
You're goddamn right he's not. Kinsey, can you use this thing to place me back in the simulation?
Yeah, I think I should be able to.
Do it.
Of all the games that should draw from Assassin's Creed, Saints Row probably isn't one of them. And indeed, Saints Row 4 was the series' most unpopular game until the 2022 reboot. Yeah, that one wasn't good at all. Originally intended to be a DLC parodying alien invasion movies and The Matrix, Saints Row 4 didn't need to be a full game, and it ended up full of bloat. This mainly consisted of territory takeover missions as big sections of the map, or simulation, are liberated by the boss. So how do you liberate the map, you ask? Well, of course, by climbing up huge towers and synchronizing those viewpoints. I mean, everyone knows that, right? Not that any non-AC game would be bold enough to use the word synchronize to describe a game mechanic anymore.
What?
It's already out. You weren't in it.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Jonah, I found the temple.
Great.
Damn. Trinity already there, trying to blast their way in.
While Tomb Raider is a much older series than Assassin's Creed and highly influential in its own right, it reinvented itself with the reboot trilogy. These games are definitely more inspired by Uncharted than Assassin's Creed, but the final entry in the trilogy goes heavy on the stealth. It's actually got even more complex stealth than Assassin's Creed, with Lara able to cover herself in mud to blend into walls and go prone to sneak. And of course, she can do stealth takedowns. She's also looking for legendary historical artifacts, though the use of MacGuffins predates the entire medium of video games. These artifacts do have devastating effects though, much like Pieces of Eden. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Where did you all come from?
Some of us have wandered the sacred lands for years.
A lot of Assassin's Creed tropes reappear in Horizon Zero Dawn and its sequel. Aloy's focus provides her with a version of detective vision. There's third-person action gameplay with a limited array of weapons. She has to scale tall necks to hack them and unlock the map, and crucially, she's piecing together what happened to a long-lost precursor civilization. That civilization is humanity, not a race of 10-foot-tall gods with magical apples, but she still spends an awful lot of time having the plot delivered to her via holograms from the past, just like how the Isu communicate with humans in the future. They're practically the same game when you look at it that way. Skull and Bones.
You saw the Lenitra ruins? Made good coin off that place.
The only Ubisoft game on our list, maybe it's a little cold to describe Skull and Bones as a knockoff since it was originally intended to be a quick, easy multiplayer spin-off from Black Flag. But it's not an official AC game, and it's more shameless than most, taking over 10 years to develop a worse, more limited version of Black Flag that had already been beaten by Sea of Thieves years ago. Even more shocking was Ubisoft calling it the company's first quadruple A game, and then trying to charge $70 for it. It's crazy. If you played it, you know it was neither quadruple A nor worth all of that cash. And Ubisoft now has squandered all that goodwill it built through Black Flag's best-in-show naval combat. Ghost of Tsushima. Sucker Punch was already drawing heavily on Assassin's Creed in its older games, with Infamous Second Son having a lot of Ubisoft-style base and territory takeover missions. But Ghost of Tsushima is the most AC-like non-AC game out there. It's got parkour, fun melee combat, a historical setting, an open world, and a core game mechanic of tracking down and assassinating targets. With Assassin's Creed Shadows on the horizon, we're sure to see this influence reversed, with Ubisoft now taking inspiration from everything Sucker Punch did to improve upon this now decades-old formula. We doubt that Shadows will have a black and white filter though. Let us know in the comments which game you think is the most like Assassin's Creed.
You're an inspiration to us. Thank you.
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.